Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brimstone, and of course, I've got with me here Fraser and Ace, who you've been listening to all day so far, who have done a fantastic job. I'm just going to give them a little round of applause here myself. Thank you, guys. We're entering into, as I said, the fourth match here. It is CCSW R6, and we've got a good match coming up here. It's going to be bTitans versus Sphynx. bTitans, although, I mean, none of us here apparently are very good at math. We've all been trying to figure out and discuss it. If they're not quite mathematically eliminated from the competition yet, it is very close for them. This is definitely, if they are still in it, a must win here. We've been talking about it a little bit. We like their chances, but I can't stress enough. Must win here. What is going to be the key to success to making sure they pull off the victory, that they stay grounded, and making sure it happens, Ace?
Quickly looking at the standings for you, I think by the looks of it, they can draw level on points with Team Endpoint, who are currently on 15, but they will be relying on other results next week as well in order to do that. So then it's going to come down to the round difference. So if nothing else, they're going to have to lose. They're going to have to lose as few rounds as they can. They need to be coming in here with a really good margin of victory. They need to be really getting a 7-0, 7-1 against Sphynx to really boost those figures in case they do get to that point whereby they sit on 15 along with Endpoint and then have to come down to those round difference figures. But they are, like I say, going to be reliant on other results. But for me, it's just about keeping everything tight, nothing silly, no mistakes. Just play your game. Come in, be professional. Don't expect just because Sphynx are the bottom of the league that they're not going to put up a challenge because they're here to play. That's what we've got to remember. As much as we can all presume what the result is going to be. This is what I love about these leagues. Particularly community leagues, is it gives the players the opportunity. The players on Sphynx. It looks like they've had a tough season, but they've still had the opportunity to learn, develop, and you really don't know what's going to come out of that in future.
Definitely. Well put. Can't stress enough. Competitive league. Everyone's here to play. And we've seen it in both the European side and the North American side so far. Big upsets showing the amount of talent and how close all that talent is in the league. Before we get into the rosters here, I just want to go over quickly the matches so far today. First, we saw Team Queen taking on Spies. Team Queen taking that 7-3. Then we moved on to Hellside Esports versus Team Endpoint. Team Endpoint taking that one 7-1. Then we had Pentadivina taking on Titanium Cloud Esports, and Titanium Cloud Esports in a very, very good match between the two teams ended up taking that one 7-4. But now as we head into the next match here, I'm just going to be pulling up the rosters here so we can get a look and get a little bit better acquainted with these girls here. So it's bTitans here, and they are taking on Sphynx. bTitans featuring Dashini, Schnati, Rebecca, Julie, and Cece. And they'll be taking on Sphynx with TR Cat, Dina, Axie, Heim, I believe is Heim, and Pinky. Two teams here, set to take on, it'll be a tough match. But as you said, we can't take anything away from Sphynx. And that's probably actually the most important factor, as you were saying, Ace, is that although the win might be all but guaranteed, what it'll come down to here for bTitans, if they are still in that race, is making sure they take, obviously, the 7 rounds and lose as few rounds as they can. Now, what part of success is going into the map that's going to lead you to success? What map, Fraser, do you think is going to be the map of success for bTitans here?
Well, bTitans, I know them probably not going to want to play Bank. I totally banned that out quite a fair amount of times. Probably not Cafe or Villa. They don't really like technical maps. I imagine probably, again, either Coastline or Clubhouse.
Now, it does look like we are just getting into the map ban phase here. So we're moving into that, and we will finally find out where we are going to go and where it's going to work either in the favor of or against bTitans and Sphynx here.
I think the only real question that needs answering at the minute is, what are these players trying to do to me with the usernames? Honestly, it's the worst and most difficult bit of being a caster. Let me tell anybody who's thinking of getting into it. When you look through the list and you've got Dashini, you've got Schnate, you've really got to get used to pronouncing those tricky ones because people like to use letters that don't normally go together.
I mean, I imagine it'll probably be a little bit easier to cast NA, where a lot of the names are going to be in American English, whereas obviously in the EU, we've got so many different nationalities contesting. I mean, we've got Swedish, Danish, German, for example. There's so many players. A lot of the players in bTitans, for example, are German, I believe.
That's it, and it just brings out all those different combinations that you don't normally see. But that's part of the job, and I'm sure we'll get our tongues around it. We're going to be looking very soon at these map bans and see where they start going. I think you're probably right. I don't think we're going to see anywhere like a bank. I think consulate off again. I'm going to not get to see any consulate tonight, unfortunately. I think, as you say, Coastline, Clubhouse, those technical maps that also have a lot of opportunity for gunfights are going to be the sort of areas that bTitans want to take this to. Villa coming off the board there, Cafe Border as well. So that leaves us down to those two, Coastline and Clubhouse. So you're going to be right one way or another, Fraser.
Oh, I don't want to see
Coastline.
Coastline.
Take a final guess?
I don't want to see Coastline. I've had enough of that. I've had enough of that. Clubhouse could be fun. Coastline could also... Oh, okay. Clubhouse. Let's go there again. Let's see what they're going to be doing a little bit differently compared to the last game. I mean, how do you feel
like
about
seeing it sort of back to back like that, because you get a real view of the difference between how teams approach it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can play Clubhouse. I think it's going to be very interesting to see the differences between these teams and, let's say, for example, TC. I think potentially they're going to play a lot more aggressively or a lot more passively. I mean, who knows? I mean, let's kind of see what happens. Take it how it comes.
So we will be heading into game very shortly. We're going to have bTitans and Sphynx facing off here in what is a very important game for bTitans, as we said, in terms of the standings. It's going to be really important that they win this one with as few rounds lost as possible. That is going to be essential. So we're going to be heading over to Clubhouse now, where these two will throw down, and we'll be heading into the operator bans.
Ooh, how are you feeling about this? I'm hoping we're actually going to see a Maverick ban from at least one of the teams. I really want to see Maverick ban it. I want to see how they're going to play against it.
I expect that we will. Yeah, there we go. Maverick ban coming in. It's so popular on Clubhouse as a ban. It just protects those hatches, makes it difficult. You know, will we really see a hatch ban and see Hibana coming in as well?
So one of the things I like about Sphynx is actually, and we've seen it over the past couple of weeks, they have been very varied with their operator bans. And the only thing I can take out of that is that they're learning from the previous VODs. They're watching back through their games and they're learning from each experience. Valkyrie ban, that's fair. That's a logical ban. Get the intel out. Very good to see. I like this.
Yeah, that's it. And it is just about that, you know, maybe trial and error as well, coming in and, you know, you've banned these people last time, so we'll ban some different people this time. You know, I don't know them as individuals. They might not be the most experienced competitive players. And what better way to learn than, you know, what happens when we ban these operators out? What happens when we ban those operators out? And just see how that fits into their overall style of play. And hopefully it's a bit more of a long game for them where they're trying to build as a team and, you know, look towards the future.
I mean, how do you feel about the Ash ban? All right, that's probably the most interesting ban there. I think you're gonna look at that and go, "Why Ash?" Do you have any?
It's certainly unusual. It's certainly unusual. I think maybe as a team, if you find that you've been hitting, you know, getting hit on the entry in the first 30, 40 seconds of the round quite often, I suppose that might tempt you towards the Ash. But really, there's other operators that can do the same job. We can see Zafir coming out as a pick straight away. Capitau's a 3-speed as well. You've also got the option of IQ getting in there very quickly. So we actually see Capitau 6th picked out onto the sledge, interestingly. So to be fair, I suppose taking the Ash off the board, if she would have been played otherwise, will slow this attack down a little. That much is fair to say. But yeah, slightly unusual ban, that one.
Now, if I learned anything from last week, it would be 1, be terrified of Rebecca. And number 2 would be terrified of Rebecca with Clash. She was incredibly powerful. Last week they played on the bank, I believe it was, and she played both Warden and Clash. She was integral with Clash and a lot of the downstairs defenses. Hopefully we're going to see that being brought out again. I mean, you don't play Clash if you don't know how to play Clash, right? If you see somebody playing like a shield, like a Montaigne or a Clash, chances are they're either a Montaigne or a Clash main, and they know how to play it, and they know how to make that as effective as possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Shields are something I've never personally had any success with. I've found them very difficult. You've got to be very aware of. It's funny because you've got to be aware of different angles you wouldn't normally need to take into consideration. You've got to be aware of where is your back showing, where are your sides showing, and normally you wouldn't really consider that too much. You're focused on what's ahead of you, whereas that's much less important, obviously, to a clash and an operator like a Montaigne as well. So yeah, very important to just get a different sense of what's around you. Rebecca just holding an angle there on that drone hole just to prevent those nades coming in and doing damage to the bandits. So that's going to allow Dashini to stay in there and try to continue tricking. We're going to see TR Cat getting in there on the Zephyr and looking to possibly use that utility to open things up. The ADS is going to come into play as a couple of those are burnt, and we can see a great first bandit trick there. This is a great view that we've got of the action as Axie comes in and tries with that second thermite charge. Dashini's going to have to bail on that one. As soon as you see the thermite charge has been activated, it is too late to get your bandit down, and you will generally lose your life if you don't get out of there. So we can see quick progress now from Hyman. We see a great example of what I was saying about the Clash there, just that very fleeting view of the backside of Clash open, but no damage will really be done. Dashini with a second kill for bTitans onto Dina there, and this is unfortunate for Sphynx. I think they had a good start to this. They got themselves into good positions, got the wall open, but they're just struggling to make that pay here.
I do really like how quickly they opened that wall up, even despite the fact that the bandit was actively on there and the Clash was covering her. They still got the wall open. That was very fast. Really good to see. Good teamwork. Good coordination by there. The Shiri getting enough kill into Axie. That is the Thermite down, leaving it in now in a 5v2.
They've been really unfortunate here of Sphynx. They've, like I said, done some things very, very well. I'm sort of wondering, if there is any area of the game lacking, is it literally coming down to gun skill? Because they've certainly got a good understanding. They've opened the west wall up absolutely brilliantly without wasting much time at all. I've genuinely seen Challenger League and Pro League teams not open that west wall up as well and as quickly as that. So they've got a great understanding of that, and also pushing Hibana in from logistics so quickly as well was a great move from them. But they've just not managed to then get in and hit the shots, and it feels like that's where they're lacking a little bit for me.
Yeah, I mean, that is fantastic teamwork there. I'm so worried about that Zofia getting killed by the Clash or getting down by the Clash. Very low health, she gets down and killed off real quickly. Rebecca on Clash. I think he got a kill onto Shnati. But unfortunately it's not enough. Julie coming in from behind and shooting her in the back. I mean, that's just the pair of having that Clash there, right? Just pair projection.
That's it. I mean, at that point for Pinky, it's round over. When you come up the stairs as Sledge and you're already at a numbers disadvantage, and then you're face to face with Clash, it's only going to end one way from there, because there's just no real way that you can challenge onto that Clash before anybody gets out and gets you finished off at the top of the stairs. So 1-0 in favour of bTitans. As I say, a great start to the round from Sphynx there. There's a lot of positive that they can take away from that, but I just feel like they faltered after that and didn't win the gunfights. I think if a few of those gunfights, particularly Heim moving in, if she gets that kill onto Clash, then I think the whole round changes there.
Yeah, I mean, it's also fairly interesting to note that instead of going for cache CCTV, which a lot of people would consider as the primary site for this map, they're going downstairs now. So they went a tertiary site and then a secondary site. They've gone downstairs now. They brought the Kaid. Okay, that's fair. Rebecca, Kaid, ACOG. We saw what she can do with Clash. Let's see what she can do with an ACOG. I would have imagined that Sphynx would have prepared this lineup for a CCTV. That's what a lot of people would probably expect. I like this. It's throwing them off. It's definitely throwing me off. And I'm an analyst. So, I mean, imagine how the players are feeling right now.
Heading into round number 2, then we saw bTitans come out with a good defensive performance there, holding fast despite the pressure being applied to them. We can see Rebecca just opening up the top of Church Wall there. That's going to allow the opportunity for that impact tricking should Thermite get into position to try and open that wall up. We can see quick progress towards the map here. No hanging about droning. Axie getting in there, taking care to ADS onto those doors and make sure that there's nobody going to be running out. The default cams get taken out as well. We can see that the Maestro cams have been prepared in sight. Maestro's an operator that I really love. I think he's super powerful. I think the nerf that came for him in the form of Thatcher and Twitch being able to take his cameras out a little bit easier, I think that was a positive thing. I think he's just in a really nice spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of those operators where he will be a massive benefit, and there's no real downside to having him, but at the same time, he's not overpowered to the degree that you rely on having him entirely. I like the upstairs hold currently in play by bTitans. Cecilia, so far, we haven't been able to see her over the past couple of weeks because she has been unfortunately unable to play. It's nice to see her playing again, shooting one of those drones out. Gonna be holding inside of construction, dropping down into stage as Dashini gets killed into TR Cat. It's the Zofia down. Relatively minor damage done to Dashini, able to rotate back into garage.
Not only is she going to rotate back, she's going to come up the other side and try to hassle the flank on the roam again. And that is great play from Dashini there. Not happy with one. And I tell you what, for any good roamer in the game, that's a good example there. That's what happens. They're never happy with one kill. It's never one kill and off back to site I go. They want a second, they want a third, they want a fourth. And those are the players that you want out on the roam. So Dashini here just looking to get this kill onto the sledge. Or is it? No, sorry, the Thatcher. Just a little bit of cat and mouse going on here. I'm not sure that they're aware that Dashina is in position, climbs in through the window. Will she be able to get the kill? She does put shots onto the Thatcher. Both now super low health. Dashina going to move away and just live to fight another day. That's 2 minutes wasted, and attackers still up on the top floor. So it's job done for Dashina, and she can now move happily back to site and just put herself to use down there.
Yeah, I mean, this is controlled aggression so far by the defense. They've been able to inflict a lot of damage, both in players, but also in time. They've wasted a lot of time. There's 40 seconds left, 4v5. They need to start getting set up, and Cecilia getting killed onto Pinky. That's the Capitao down. Dina dropping down. Looks like they're going to go for a motor push.
Only 30 seconds left in the round when those hatchers are getting hit with the EMP grenades. It's just too late. Dashini gets another kill for herself there, and that now leaves us 2 versus 3. Thatcher and Thermite, if you could pick any operators to be left together, it would be those two. CC moves in and gets a kill onto Dina as well, and that now leaves Axie on the Thermite with it all to do. 8 seconds and 5 kills to find. This is going to be too much of an ask. She moves in and gets shots onto the first. Will move herself down into safety, but the time is going to run out. The win will be there for bTitans. Great roam game from them that round, and just a bit too much hesitance from Sphynx there. They got themselves into the map on the top floor. They understood that the top floor roam was in place. They just didn't know how to get it cleared out. They didn't show enough aggression in cornering and dealing with those roamers.
Yeah, I mean, that was a classic example of roamers supporting each other. I mean, Dashini and Cici in particular upstairs working together. Not only was Dashini holding the angle into CC, but even you saw Cecilia or Cici with his C4 in hand, holding that doorway pretty much hostage, waiting for somebody like the Thatcher to run across. She'd throw that, get a kill. Great teamwork, great coordination by them. And yeah, I mean, round 3, here we go.
Round 3, here we go indeed. Moving in 2-0 to bTitans, and they are certainly looking reasonably dominant so far, I think would be a fair description. We're going to see them now head into what most would consider the primary sites here on Clubhouse. We're going to be heading to CCTV and Cash. Bit interchangeable with Church and Arsenal. It comes down to personal preference, really. They've just done a great job of defending downstairs, so we'll see what they can do up here. An important part is going to be the east wall that we can see Dashini just reinforcing right now. She's also playing the bandit, so she's going to be trying to hold that wall. We saw her get a great bandit trick onto the first Thermite charge out on Jacuzzi wall in round 1. We'll see if she can repeat that process here in round number 3. Really, we've got the Zofia on the board now. TR Cat needs to be moving in underneath there. I commented on it in the last game. Get in underneath, open that soft floor up. That is the best way to move the Sheeny away from there. CC's going to get those ADSs out in CCTV, no doubt. So it's going to prevent any nades or anything like that coming in and taking the bandit out of position. Those destructive grenades from the Zofia utility, etc. So 15 seconds into the round. Still an awful lot to play here in this game, but bTitans looking very solid so far.
Yeah, I mean, like a fantastic play for the attack would be get the Capitao onto CC window, firebolt the wall, get the Zofia to lifeline it as well if you need to, EMP it, get the wall open. Alright, you don't give the bandit or the CAD the opportunity to trick that wall, get it open as quickly as you can, get prepared for a plant, bait out C4, go for a plant, get the plant down, hold the angle. Right?
Simple as that. Simple as that. We can see the kid there. Rebecca just holding herself back. Out comes the Thatcher EMP. She needs to throw that Thatcher charge now, but it is just too late. I thought it had got it then. I think it was the Hibana charges that it actually took off. They tried to breach both sides at the same time to make it difficult to bandit trick that, and they did a great job of it. The Thatcher's got things opened up. We see one kill going in either direction, but Dina will get one additionally onto the operator on Garage Catwalk, so that now leaves us in a 4 versus 3. Sphynx need to use this numbers advantage now to get themselves in the driving seat and start thinking about getting the diffuser down. They've still got the kid there looking to play and use that shotgun. It can be absolutely devastating. Shots just come in a little bit before the hard ping there. If you just waited a second, she might have just got herself a wall bang there. But 1 minute left to go. Pinky gets a great kill onto Rebecca, and that now leaves us 2 versus 4. And this round is looking very promising for Sphynx.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic teamwork so far by Sphynx. They got the wall open. They've gotten a couple of frags. Now they're just preparing. They're going to go in for that final attack, execute. We've got one person outside of the breach on drone right now. Potentially Bandit could run out. However, that's been covered by Garage, I believe. Yeah, Dina running on in, getting a kill. However, getting traded out and return Shnati. Returning fire, taking down Pinky as well. Leaving it in technically a 2v1 right now.
Technically a 2v1, 35 seconds to go. Axie has the diffuser in hand and will start to get that down. It's all down to Schnat now. Low on health. This is going to be difficult. Moves in, gets shots onto the Zofia, but won't be enough. TR Cat getting that kill and closing things out for Sphynx. I'm glad to see them take a first round here and maybe just start to grow into the game a little bit. They've deserved it from the play so far. They've shown a great understanding of the technical aspect of Siege, getting walls open, moving operators around the map. Changing difficult strategies and meaning that they can't be used against them. So very, very good from Sphynx in that terms. They've just been losing out on those gunfights a little bit, but they did much better there, and that is a great round for them.
That was hands down one of the best attack executes that I have seen in CCS rounds. Hands down, genuinely. The teamwork and coordination that goes between the Thermite, the Thatcher, the Capitao, and potentially even the Zofia. Get the wall open, deny the Kaid, deny the Bandit, and it's fantastic. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It worked, and they totally on that round. Here's hoping they can do it again.
Heading back to CCTV, Cash, what do bTitans do differently here, Fraser?
Well, I mean, we're seeing a similar lineup being brought out. They're keeping the Bandit, keeping the Kaid. I imagine Rebecca's probably going to try and be a little bit faster with that Kaya trick. As we saw, it was a little bit too late. Hopefully that might work out a bit better this time. I imagine we'll probably see a very similar, if not the same, kind of attack strategy by Team Sphynx. It worked.
It's very tricky, is the kid trick.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's timing. It's more timing because it's like you're not in direct control of it because you're watching it as it expands to fill the thingy, so it goes off. Alright, that's a very technical explanation of a Kaid. Electric one. But basically, you throw it at the wall, and you watch as the circle expands, and it touches the thing, and then it'll electrify. Alright, and you need to time that so it goes off at the same time the exothermic charge is on the wall, right?
Really, I'd say as a general rule, you need to be starting to throw that. You need to be releasing it as the EMP is detonating. maximum. You need the feedback that the EMP, you've got that noise trigger when the EMP hits the ground, and that's when you need to be releasing it, because then you generally have enough time for it to activate. But it's still a very, very difficult one. Bandit does that job far more effectively than Cade.
I do love the mild irony of having possibly the UK's 2 worst players explaining one of the most complex strategies in Siege. It's ironic.
This is the thing. This is why I cast Fraser. I can explain the game. I just my hands won't allow me to physically do it to the level that I can discuss it at. I just watch an obsessive amount of Siege, so I understand the intricacies. I just can't put them into practice, unfortunately.
It's got 1 minute 40 left. It looks like they're getting set up for this attack. Zofia on that drone hole. Prone warrior. Storm charge goes down, and the Kai trick doesn't get it. Unfortunately, doesn't get it. And the wall's opened up again. Fantastic work by half the team.
It's too late by doing that, because they're waiting for the bandits to be taken off. You need to have somebody close to the wall so you can hear what's going on, so you know when that's about to happen. We get a great double kill from CC there. Julie coming in with one onto TR Cat as well, so that now leaves us quickly in a 5 versus 2. And this is the sort of situation I'm talking about. It doesn't matter how well Sphynx can open that wall up if ultimately they're going to lose 2 or 3 quick gunfights like that. So that's something, you know, whether they need to be hitting the aim trainer or what, I don't know. They just need to be improving that gun skill, those reflexes. And I think at that point, they start becoming a team that are going to be really competitive in any competition they're in, because they've got a very thorough understanding of the game mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks like bTitans are winning quite substantially through the gunfights. As far as I'm aware, they've won most, or at least the majority of the gunfights. Sphynx probably want to work on that. I mean, they've got, as you mentioned, they've got a very good grasp on the technical aspects of Siege. 25 seconds left. Looks like Dina is getting a drone set up. 20 seconds left. They need to go in for the plant. They need to clear a garage, go for a plant. It's not looking too good right now.
Not looking good at all with 10 seconds left to go. We're going to see them start to pressure site, but the angles are being held. Rebecca will get the first kill onto Dina, and that now leaves us in a 1 versus 5. Big ask for Axie here as she moves in, and that will be a flawless round going in favour of bTitans. But, you know, as we've said, Fraser, I think it's fair to say, look at Sphynx compared to week 1 versus now. You know, they've really developed throughout, and that's in big part what CCS Women's is here to do as well, to give the ladies the opportunity to come into this environment, play competitively and develop themselves. And it's quite clear that they have put some absolute rich time into developing their technical and strategical knowledge as far as Siege is concerned. And that's fantastic to see.
I mean, one of the first things I remember hearing Jess say regarding Sphynx on stream, during, I believe it was probably like week 2 or week 3, was that Sphynx are one of those teams that they just, no matter the outcome of the game, they'll go back and they'll rewatch the game over and over again, and they'll figure out what happened, what caused that particular outcome, what variables went into that, and they're learning time after time, and it's really good to see that, you know, kind of paying off, especially with that attack execute right there.
Absolutely, it was, as you say, you know, very, very good. So, unfortunately, not quite as good as the round before, where they were a bit more successful. But coming in now, 3-1 coming to round 5. We're going to head back down to Church and Arsenal. bTitans, I'm sure, you know, are growing into this game, feeling confident. They won this site back in round 2. The roam just really wasn't dealt with at all, and they were able to pick up a few kills there. There was good drone work early on and a good top floor presence, but just never really any bite that followed it. It took them, I think there was 30 seconds left on the clock by the time the EMP landed on the bar hatch there, and you just need to be getting those things done a little bit quicker. If there is defenders up on the top floor, get aggressive, push towards them, force them down to middle floor, and you really want to be pushing onto middle floor with 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that Sphynx seems to be struggling with a little bit with their roam clearance, is that they seem to be pushing individually, right? As far as I'm aware, Dina is their one of their most experienced players. I believe she was the only player with competitive experience before this. And I think that's kind of showing to a degree. Like, you can definitely see her taking point, even when she's playing more of a support operator. Hopefully that's something that they can continue to work on as kind of weeks go by.
I could be wrong with this, and I don't know. Maybe it's something that will help them out if they do watch this back. It seems to me like on the roam clear, they're trying to be reactive, and you can't really be reactive on a roam clear because you need more urgency than that. So they've just seen where Mozzie was located. So then we see guns train on the window, and it's almost as if they're waiting then for Mozzie to push that window and attack them so they can react to it, rather than being the aggressor, moving forward and attacking the window. CC moving in with a good kill onto TR Cat, who did get a great kill drop in the hatch to clear one of the roamers out. But yeah, I just think possibly that's what we see in a little bit there is we recognize where the roamer is. So instead of seeing that as an opportunity to go and get a kill, what we're doing is we're using that as information to be wary of that. We know that the roamer's there, so we need to be wary of that angle. So we're going to hold a gun on it, and we're just going to hold ourselves back and wait and see what happens there, when that's not really the answer with roamers. What you want is somebody within 15, 20 feet. When the drone goes in, that's where they are. And there's, I'd point towards, if they wanted to look at somebody's play style to develop that, look at somebody like Doki. He hears a noise, he gets told there's a roamer there, he's running at them. No question.
Yeah. I mean, fantastic triple kill there. Overall this round by Cecilia getting a triple kill there and a quad kill and an ace. What?
Second ace of the night.
Wow. Hi.
Great plays from CC there, just not really shut down on the roam. And it's interesting that that's the Mozzie that I was talking about at the beginning. Droned out in cash, hold an angle onto cash window, allow her to move away, allow her to move into the map, comes out with an ace. And that's just, again, something for them to pick up, that really the reaction to that information of finding a roamer is not, right, we need to be aware of that roamer and be wary of them. Most of the time it's, right, we need to push that roamer aggressively right now, and we need to be getting the kill and getting a trade at best, And like I say, if they look towards somebody like Doki who does that fantastically well when playing competitively, any noise on the map, he's running towards it looking for that kill, and they just need somebody that has that confidence to start pushing forward like that. But the funny thing is, like, I'm not that sort of player personally. I sort of struggle with that element of my game. But what I do find is when I've got the time to put into terrorist hunt and things like this, and if I can do a load of terrorist hunt within a week or two, and then I start playing back into ranked, I find myself, my confidence is like right up there. And what starts happening is you get aggressive and you push onto a player or two, and you actually win those fights because you're the aggressor, and most of the time in Siege, the aggressor wins. So you move in and you get those kills, and it's just like a spiral. Then you just get more and more confident with it, and then you push more and more, and you think, actually, yeah, this aggression works, and it almost becomes addictive in itself that you're going in and win them fights. And they just need one of the players to take on that mantle and just start becoming that aggressor.
I mean, to be fair, Ace, correct me if I'm wrong, you are like a silver 4, right?
No, I'm not silver 4, I'm plat every season.
No.
Absolutely.
How many Pro League players did you pay to carry you to plat?
Give it a rest. I don't play with any. I played against Citizen once, and he did absolutely dominate me.
I remember that. That was actually Citizen and Shishka on Outback. I was playing with you. It was BU, Afi, and X, and we got demolished.
Rough. I got a kill onto Shishka, which is all that mattered to me.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, CC right now, 11 kills, I believe, if my mathematics is correct. She has the same amount of kills as everybody else on her team right now.
Yeah, she's having a fantastic game. She's really going off.
Yeah, 11-1, that's an understatement.
If you're thinking about silver players for Ezra, it must be Des that you're thinking of.
Oh, wow, that's a low blow even for you. He's going for the wall again right now, actually. I imagine, hopefully this should work out. Dashini on the bandit. Hopefully it's going to work out as per usual. Sphynx have been very... Yeah, again, they're very good at this. It's fantastic work by them. Gets the wall open. Rebecca still are holding on outside the jacuzzi. I like this.
They are very good at it. Like you say, they've obviously, been studying those elements. They've obviously been, learning from that. CC coming in and just continuing her onslaught at the minute, getting another kill. So that's now 6 kills in a row for CC. I'm sure she's going to be keen to get some more, but she has moved away on the roam by the looks of things. She's got herself out into construction just to hold off any push that comes from that side. Now CC on the jump out there. Julie gets a kill onto Pinky, and CC can give the shout that the windows are all clear as it stands. Great great angle there from Axie, just held on the rappel, so that brings one back in their favour. That's now going to bring us to a 3 versus 4. But it's the Sheeny as well, a player that we've seen very, very good so far. So that is a good name to get off the board as well from Axie there. 3 versus 4, no direct progress towards site other than opening that jacuzzi wall, but not really been able to make any progress in through there or towards getting any plant spots secured at this point in time. We've got 2 attackers looking to push from the construction side, I think. So this could be another 2 for CC as she moves in, but it won't be as TR Cat wins that fight. And this is what I'm talking about. Be the aggressor, push onto those defenders, don't allow them to feel comfortable, and go in and win those gunfights for yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic position to be in right now as the attackers even starting to get that momentum back. 25 seconds left. They need to start making that construction push. They need to start pressuring from Gym Bedroom. Looks like Clash holding on to a doorway there. Dina trying to do her best. Wide peek around that. Julie gets killed into Axie. And momentum seems to have slowed down quite a fair bit. Zofia gets down by the Clash. Potentially even a kill coming out here.
I think almost certainly as she peeks around the door there. Time runs out before she can move in and get the kills. But again, difficult round for Sphynx there. Dealing with a Clash is always difficult. You've got to put those lifelines of the Zofia to good use there to go in and just disrupt that shield with a second operator alongside you, supporting you to shoot out the feet and just open things up. Alternatively, obviously getting in there with the rush, hitting with the melee and just moving that shield out of the way to enable you to get the kill. But certainly not an easy operator to deal with. And you've already commented, Fraser, about Rebecca's ability on there.
Now moving over to defense, hopefully that will favor Sphynx's kind of playstyle so far. It'll allow them to play a little bit more passively, and as you mentioned earlier on, a bit more reactively. I mean, it's a lot easier to play reactively as a defender because at the end of the day, if you run out of time, hey, you win. You can't really do that as an attacker. You really do need to maintain that constant kind of aggression or kind of movement, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's it's an innate advantage that the defenders have. That ultimately, if nothing happens within a round, the defenders win because the clock is on their side. So it is definitely the case that you can certainly afford to hold your angles a little bit more. I think you're right. I think it will benefit Sphynx because they can set themselves up this way. Attack has to be much more sort of free form. You just have to play into what the defender's setup is. You've got to think on your feet, move around it. You've got to be flexible and fluid all the time. Whereas as the defense, you can set yourself up, you can wedge yourself into a corner, you can hold an angle, and the majority of the time, you can just wait for the attackers to push onto you and take advantage of those strong lines of sight. So we'll see how that pans out here. We've got a good lineup. We've got everything we need. We've got the Bandit. We've got the Legion to slow the attackers down. We've got the Maestro there. So we've got the information being fed back in. They really do have everything they need here. But it's going to, I think, largely come down to how quickly this east wall can get open.
I mean, we've seen how successful Sphynx are at opening the wall. Let's see how successful they can be keeping the wall there, like as a wall, right? Dina currently on the wall right now. But I'm going to hold that for as long as she can. They don't have the Capitao to kind of push her off that. They don't really have too much pressure coming in from the balcony. However, it doesn't matter. Dina gets killed off by Julie.
Dina there, I think, just needs to play a little bit closer to the centre of the wall there. If you notice, she was placing the bandit batteries down at the far extremes of the wall, and it just gives you, even though it's only a second, it's too far to need to move. Again, if she plays where the separation is between those two reinforcements, she can apply the bandit battery to either wall without moving her feet, and it also allows her to use the sound cues to be able to hear which side it's being planted on, and then put the bandit battery down accordingly. So I think just some slightly better positioning from her will help her in future there.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly as you've just said there. I mean, bandit tricking, it comes down to milliseconds, and having that quick reaction of saying, okay, I can hear them on my left, I can hear the plant on my left. Literally just turn your mouse a little bit more, rather than having to move to the other wall, if that makes sense.
By being in the centre as well, it helps the sound cues, because then if you're focusing straight on, theoretically, if it's on the right-hand panel, you should hear it in your right ear. If it's on the left, you should hear it in your left ear. If you're far left, you're then working about how loud is it, how close is it to me.
Yep.
So it just makes everything a little bit easier. But looking to move forward now, Rebecca's going to actually get downed here. She's going to be picked up. That will leave us now 4 versus 3 with Dashini coming in with a kill onto Pinky, and that's unfortunate for Sphynx there, not managing to get the final kill onto Rebecca and her being able to come back into the fight on the Nomad. We can hear the air jabs being deployed. Dashini looking to pressure, and this is what I like to see from an attack on CCTV, Cash. I always like to see a pressure applied from both sides.
See, that was a slight mistake there by bTitans. They had a flank drone, but nobody's sitting on it. Rebecca getting a kill onto Axie, and Cecilia mopping up with a second onto TR Cat, leaving it all up for the Maestro. It gets taken down by Rebecca.
Great plays from bTitans there. They were unfortunate for Sphynx. They got themselves. TR Cat came in on a good flank, got a nice kill in construction. As you said, a little bit of a slip up there from bTitans. The flank drone not being watched, and there were operators that were no longer alive. So that's exactly what they should be doing at that point. But she was able to slip through there and get that kill. And I thought that might actually just shift the momentum of the round a little bit. But what we saw a lot of movement from the defenders in the site there. They were being pushed around, which is not always your choice. It's usually the signs of a good attack, that you're being forced to move around, and they were just picked off as they were doing so.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'd be really looking at this and going, okay, what can I learn from that last that last attack? I mean, moving over to Gym Bedroom, that's fair enough. It's fair. I mean, you did well on Cash CC, but they struggled a lot. I don't quite know how else to put it there other than Sphynx struggled a little bit there, and kind of the final part of that.
As I said before we got into that round, a big factor of that was going to be how quickly the east wall got open, because once it's open, a lot of pressure is applied to site. For any maybe newer viewers, or if you don't quite understand the theory of opening that east wall, basically what you can do, if you can get control of garage and you can get control of the east wall, you've then got a line of sight that runs from east wall across to the single door that we can see on the map in front of us. And then if you get somebody in at the garage window, exactly where Schnat's drone is at the minute, you've got a line of sight all the way down to Cash. So that effectively cuts off and creates a safe space in the center of that room, exactly where we're looking now, next to where the bomb would normally be. So then you can push in from garage or east wall and get yourself in theoretically for a plant behind there. Nobody can move in because the line of sight cuts off that movement and rotation. So when that east wall gets open so early in the round, it just makes it very, very difficult, because you've completely limited mobility within 50% of your sight. So really, that's where that improvement in bandit tricking is going to do them an absolute service there, because it's just going to prevent that wall being open so quickly, and it's just going to give them a little bit more breathing space inside.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best explanations for Siege would be you're using... Oh no, Dina. Getting the bandit trick successful, or...
That was very late.
Yeah, I was scared about that. I honestly thought she was about to get downed or killed by an exothermic charge. However, she's able to get the first exothermic charge. Potentially going to get a second one in a minute.
Very possibly. She's juggling those batteries left and right and making things very tricky here for Julie. Certainly not keen to get that exothermic charge down. When you've only got one left, it really does start to feel essential to get it right. So in goes the drone to have a look at Dina there, and she's just juggling that battery. I'm not sure how many batteries she's got left at the minute, but if she does have one, that's why she'll be juggling it backwards and forwards so it doesn't get lost to an EMP. We can see Cece going in underneath there on the IQ, using the scanner, seeing if she can locate any equipment up there that might be of help to them. Dashini gets the opening kill onto Pinky. That now leaves us in a 5 versus 4. But time is ticking down here, and this is a good defensive round so far from Sphynx. This is exactly what I was saying. It's a great example of it. They didn't hold them off for long enough in Cash and CCTV. This time they've wasted 2 minutes, and they still don't have the access to site that they want. So it's going to come down to a rotation and a push from another location. Unfortunately for Sphynx, Titans are very, very good at that also, and they're going to be pushing from that construction side. It's now 4 versus 2. The diffuser is going down. Julie's got in through window. Her angles are covered as well. In comes the final kill from Rebecca, and that will be the round and the match for bTitans there.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly well played by bTitans. Very coordinated, very cohesive. it was good. You know, it's unfortunate they weren't able to open up Jacuzzi Wall as quickly as obviously they would have hoped, but they're able to take advantage of the nature of that defense, and they pushed in straight through logistics and through construction. Were able to exploit kind of the lack of players, and were able to frag it out. I mean, 14 kills, 2 deaths. Wow.
CC going absolutely crazy there, including an ace, I think it was, that she got.
Yes.
Great game for her. But, ultimately, if I'm Sphynx looking back at that, I think there's a lot of promise there. There's foundations. Like I said, they've got a good understanding. There's just some things that they can sharpen up. Certainly get into, the aim trainers and look at just getting a bit more confident and aggressive in those gunfights and clearing out the roamers. And I think they'll be surprised at how quickly they start to see improvement if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing really well there, especially during the initial attacks, getting the walls open, getting set up to go for an execute. I think they're just struggling a little bit more with the gunfights and winning them, which, yeah.
Completely, and I think that's going to be the big turning point for them if they can develop that a little bit further and just push those a little bit more. It'll just give them more map control, more time to think about what they're doing. And if Sphynx can achieve that, they'll be a dangerous team because, as we've seen, once they get into those positions, they know technically what they're doing. They know what they need to do. They're very good at opening up plant spots. They're very good at getting themselves into position to execute. So if they can just get that last jigsaw piece in the puzzle, they'll do very well.
I mean, you have to look at like Sphynx as a whole from the beginning of the year, and although that match was 7-1, it definitely didn't feel like that. They had a lot of really good moments. They had a lot of moments where I can't stress it enough. The way they looked at the beginning of the year versus the way they look now, they do look like a completely new team.
Yeah.
Massive improvements throughout all the players. I mean, some of the bandit tricking they were pulling off there was very impressive, very well done. But I would also like to point out on the flip side, for EU here, today actually featured the first 2 aces that we've seen on the EU side. We have seen 2 on the North American side, both from Maddox, but today we saw Connie do it for Pentadivina, and then we saw CC do it today for bTitans. And I mean, CC's was just something of beauty. It was during a flawless round as well. She just came out. I don't think any of our teammates even saw any other players. She just ran out, came through, killed the whole other team, and said, "Okay, next round." That one was done. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was absolute props to CC. She really did frag out today, and that ace was something special. I'm sure she'll be watching that back later. Just hope that we did it justice on the cast for her because it was very exciting to watch, and it just really did show her dominance within there. And I look through the women's league and there's a couple of names that are starting to really spring to the surface there, and I really wouldn't be surprised at all to see, a couple of people. I'd like to see a couple of people that I've seen play tonight moving on to, other competitions, other tournaments as well, and getting themselves more involved in the competitive scene because I really think that they could, play a part in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many players who have just kind of made a name for themselves throughout these games. Not only carrying, well, I guess not necessarily carrying, but not only are they exceeding expectations, but they're also, being such an inspiration for other people who are potentially watching the game. They're watching like the streams back, they're watching the videos back, and they're saying, "Hey, this is amazing. How can I get involved?" And I think that's incredibly admirable.
Sorry, my apologies. Sorry, I had myself muted there. It's been amazing to see week by week the development in not only the teams but the players as individuals, seeing everything that they've done. We've had some amazing progress throughout the season here. We still even have one more week to go before the finals. But yeah, exactly like you said, we've had players that we've been following week by week and just seeing some of the amazing things they've done. It's been really exciting. I just wanted to go through a quick recap on the night tonight. We've had 4 really good matches happen so far. It started with Team Queen going up against Spies, Team Queen taking that 7-3. Then we had Hellside Esports going up against Endpoint, with Endpoint taking that 7-1. Followed by Titanium Cloud taking on Pentadivina. Titanium Cloud, of course, taking that 7-4. And then the match that we just saw, which was bTitans taking on Sphynx. bTitans taking that 7-1, but a much closer match than the scoreline showed. Now, Fraser, did you have a favorite match of the night, and why would
Oh.
that be?
I would probably actually have to say it would have been that last map. It
Mm,
would have been bTitans versus Sphynx. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's seeing the progression of specifically Sphynx here. Um, I do have to admit I have a kind of a fond spot for them with
mhm.
how they progressed over the past couple of weeks. I'm incredibly happy with how that went out.
Yeah, I mean, no one ever wishes,
Yeah,
failure upon anyone else or anything like that. You always want to see people succeed, and even if it's in those little ways, they may
yeah,
not have to win a match for you to have looked at them and say, you know what, I saw success there. They definitely, it feels good to see that happen.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even just those small victories of being able to do the attack executes really quickly and really effectively, that won it for me, 100%.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, just doing a bit of a recap as well on this season here so far. Team Queen, holding on to that first position. Spies still in second. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if we got the results back from that North Sea Gaming versus SMS Athena game yet. And then North Sea, as far as we know, sitting in third, with Endpoint holding on to their fourth spot there. They look to be the four favorites at the moment that are going to stick around for the playoffs. But of course, bTitans winning tonight 7-1, definitely doing themselves some favors if it is at all possible for them to stick in the race. But I have to ask, Ace, how did you like it tonight? How did you enjoy being with us?
Absolute pleasure. It's been a lot of fun to watch. It's a different pace to the Siege that you always normally see. There's been some very competitive games, and what I like is there's been some new ideas in there, new ways of doing things. So it's not just been rinse and repeat the same things that we always see. So absolute pleasure to see so many new names as well. As everybody will probably know, I do quite a lot of casting across different tournaments, and I still see those same names cropping up, and that's been the beauty of this one, is to see the new ones. And of course, for me personally, getting to cast my friend Shishka was a lot of fun as well.
That must be fun, yeah. Uh, And then we are actually getting the updated score here from North Sea Gaming versus SMS Athena, and it was North Sea Gaming taking that one 7-2. So I do believe that, as I was saying, that does keep us in the 1, 2, 3, 4 of Team Queen, Spies, North Sea, and then Endpoint. And at that point, without doing the math, doing a rough calculation in my head, I think that all but secures the top four spots for those teams. Depending on the matchups next week, we might have a little shift for that fourth spot. So Endpoint, really hoping to secure that final spot. But we do appreciate you all dropping by to watch us here. It's been an amazing year so far. We do have 1 week left before the finals. We hope that you join us for that. And of course, we do have more matches coming on later this evening, or late this evening if you're still in Europe. But I'll be around for the North American ones, which will be 7 p.m. EST. We hope that you do join us for those. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Fraser, and thank you, Ace, for an amazing evening. It's been a lot of fun working with you guys tonight, but we'll see you hopefully in a few hours. Have a great evening, everyone.